Hey, Sat. Obviously, big time performance last week. You'll get Kevin Harris back this week. Might have Doty back as well. How much does that change what you guys will plan to do, or does it change at all?
It doesn't really change much. As soon as we can get back to full strength, we'll be a lot better off getting all those guys out there. But it really won't change the plan dramatically at this point.
John Whittle on the back right.
Yeah, Luke said that he wanted to feel good running to be able to go on Saturday. What have you seen out of him these last couple of days of practice? How does he look running, and do you feel like he will be ready to go for Saturday?
I think it's definitely going to be close. I mean, he was moving around well today, throwing the ball well. This week we've really pushed him towards more of 100% reps to see what he can do. Make sure that his foot's where it needs to be, and I'm anxious to see when we get to game time if he'll be ready to go or not. But he looked good today.
Stay in the back right with Hale.
What did you think of Saturday night with how Zeb played and just kind of your overall impression of that?
He played like I thought he would. I mean, he took care of the football, called the plays, organized guys at the line of scrimmage, got the ball where it needed to be. The stage wasn't too big for him. It wasn't too fast for him. So it was good to see him go out there and execute and take care of the football. And it didn't shock me. That's what I was expecting him to do.
Is there any kind of progression to this week or whatever moving forward for him, or is it just kind of the same, just be that
No,
same
I mean,
steady
he
guy?
keeps getting better. I mean, there's stuff that he's working on daily, just checklists of things to get better, like you said, each week that he needs to improve on. He's still just been playing football now for, I guess, 4 weeks. So we're looking forward to watching him develop a little bit more each week.
Let's go to the front left, Ben Portland.
Saturday, I think last weekend, you guys were a little better than 50% on third down and 2 or 3 on fourth down. Just what do you think you guys were able to do to string together those drives and make those plays in some of those situations? And, what is it that maybe it was Zeb or the rest of the offense were able to do to keep those things alive?
I think we were just staying on schedule, and we stayed on schedule, and we were able to push the line of scrimmage, and we should have been able to push the line of scrimmage, and we were able to, we didn't have any really negative yardage plays in the run game. So that always helps. And then we had short fields thanks to the defense and the pump blocks. So we were always in that territory where it was like third down, 2 downs. And so we were able to run the ball on third down more than we would be normally, which allowed us to have, I think, a lot more success. I would love to do that every week. It's just you got to be able to, again, field zone and run the football like we were the other night.
Let's go to Rick Henry, front right.
Marcus, after this weekend, will you have a better idea of your strengths and weaknesses because you're going against better competition?
100%, yes.
Let's go to Michael Onana right in the middle, front middle.
Watching your offense in action this past Saturday, we got to see some of that creativity with obviously Jaheim Bell and DK Joyner lining up and at quarterback and all of that. Just how much added discipline does it take for players to be able to execute those kinds of plays and things like that on a game day? And how important is it just to have those kinds of different looks and unpredictability in a game?
The key is you got to have football guys at those positions. I mean, guys that understand football and can see what you're saying and what you're trying to portray, and then go to be able to execute it. The other thing is just through repetition. I mean, those guys have been doing that all summer, all training camp, and so it wasn't anything that we threw new on them last week. It's just what we've been doing. But those are all smart kids and have multi skill sets. I thought DK did a tremendous job. I was wanting to get him way more reps, but once the game kind of got in hand and we wanted to get those younger quarterbacks some reps, we just decided, DK's played enough. But his role has to continue to grow at the quarterback position moving forward.
Let's go to David, front left.
Marcus, a couple for you. One on the 2-point conversion. How much input did you have into that, either from calling it or from designing it?
0. But it was beautifully executed. When I watched it Sunday, I was like, we need to have that play in. That was blocked better than any run play we blocked all night. It was great.
And second, I believe it was the second possession. You guys had a 4th and goal from maybe the 3 or so, decided to go for it. Just what was the thinking going into that? And, was it just the constant mindset we want to be aggressive right here?
Yeah, Coach Beamer did it, to be his first game as a head coach was tremendous. It was sometimes even on second down, just, hey, Sat, you're going to have 2 downs here. So, just keeping me ahead of the decision making so I could be aggressive and could run the ball. And once we got down there, he goes, we're going to score a touchdown, like whatever it takes, like we're going for it. So we had that attack mindset all the way down to the goal line.
Let's go to Colin in the front right.
Marcus, what have you seen from East Carolina in the film that you've been able to watch, and just how do they kind of match up with what you're trying to do offensively?
you watch them. If you just watch the cut-ups of the game from the other night, you're shocked that they got beat by Appalachian. They got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football. They've been playing a long time. Really impressed with their front seven. I think their front seven is the strength of their defense. And they got some very talented and confident, athletic kids in the back end. But those 4 defensive linemen get after it, and we're going to have to be at our very best to be able to have success in the running game and protecting our quarterback, because those guys can get after you without even blitzing anyone with those front 4.
Let's go to Corey in the back left.
Marcus, I'm curious. Obviously, the job of the offensive coordinator is to put the offense in the best position to score points. Once you got score and then the head coach decides to go for 2, what goes through an offensive coordinator's mind?
I'm up there just thanking the Lord that we scored a touchdown, and if they go for 2, they go for 2, and then I respond to whatever the deficit or whatever the lead is, following that. But a lot of times I had no idea they were doing that, and so whenever they did it, I've given them 5, and that was exciting. But I have no input, and there might be a time later on in the game where, hey, Sat, if we score, are we going for 2? And I'm doing the game management stuff. Me and Coach Kimmery up in the box and looking at the 2-point chart and the available drives remaining in the game and what gives us the best. I'll be involved in those conversations, but a lot of them like that one early in the game, I had no idea.
And another question for you on Quan. Just what do you like about him as a player, as a person? What do you like about exactly what he's bringing to this offense right now?
I'm sorry, who did you say?
Zaquandre Wright.
Okay. I know him as Z. When you said Quan, I was like, oh, my Lord, I don't know one of my players. Just like I've told everybody, I mean, since spring ball, he hasn't missed a rep. And he plays the toughest, hardest position in football. He gets hit every play. The only position that's not protected in the game of football is the guy carrying the ball. So for him to not miss any reps from spring until now just talks about his toughness, competitiveness, durability, his commitment to certain things to playing running back. I'm not going to jinx him. I'm not going to jinx us, but his commitment to making sure that ball is king is crucial. His commitment to a different run style, one cut knife run style is crucial for his development and his improvement. He's out there today. I mean, he's the leader. He's running his mouth in a good way, getting everybody fired up, getting the energy of practice going. It's just I can't imagine being out there without him. He's so important to our offense.
Let's go to the Daily Gamecock, middle right.
Hey, Coach, you guys had some costly penalties on Saturday. What have you guys been doing in practice to cut back on those?
Just constantly talking about them and putting them in situations, stressful situations. We know that they're tired, and then we may change up the snap count, just to make sure they're locked in. But it's something that definitely, if we were in a close game, could have really hurt us last week.
Let's go to Ben Portnoy, front left.
Marcus, I guess when you were at Baylor, you guys went to Rice and played one of these games, Power 5 at a Group of 5 school. I guess just what's the challenge of that for you guys this week? And I guess is there any different dynamic with that? I mean, what's it like preparing for that, on y'all's side this
Like
week?
we said last week, we have to earn the right to even have that conversation. We have to win a lot more games before we're even in a situation to even compare Group of 5, Power 5. We know that this is going to be one of the hardest games that coaches, players have ever been in. The environment is going to be electric. It's one of the toughest places. I played there once when we were in Temple. It's one of the toughest places to play a college football game. It's going to be packed. It's going to be hot. It's 12 o'clock kickoff. They're licking their chops. We have to go in there and be prepared for one of the toughest things we've ever been in our life. And that's how we're preparing this week.
Colin, front right.
Marcus, the old coaching cliches, the most growth comes from week 1 to week 2. What did you learn about your team week 1, and where are some things, I guess, what's next for this offense as you get into an ECU game week?
Just confidence. We have to believe that we can do certain things. I think just the way that we carry ourselves out on the field, the way that we break in and out of the huddle, utilize our tempos, go from point A to point B, the body language, the energy. We have to believe that we can be a good offense. And even though we were having success last week, I told them, guys, we're not down 40. We have to pick up our body language and our energy. Enjoy this. It's hard to win a football game. It's hard to get a lead in a football game. So I think just the overall demeanor and belief has to continue to grow moving forward as we play offensive football here.
Augustus Stone, right behind the camera in the middle.
So when you have a group of 4 or 5 really good running backs, how do you decide kind of who gets the carries? How do you split them? And then how do you see maybe throughout the season that number changing? We saw like a committee approach, in theory with Zaquandre and everybody. So just kind of, do you see that changing as you see who's doing well, or do you think it'll stay roughly the same?
I mean, the person who is most productive is going to play, and the person that practices the best during the week is going to play. It's my job to make sure, again, that we're getting those guys out there on the field and not standing on the sideline, whether it be 2 of them at one time, 3 of them at one time on the field. But we can't have those guys. I mean, they're the best players on our offense. We can't have them stand over there on the sideline while other guys are on the field. So that's a job for me and my staff to make sure that gets done. And then, like the other night, there was a lot of them because we had a lead, and so we're trying to develop the growth of those young guys, getting them some experience. But if it's a tight game like it's going to be every play this week, whoever's the most productive is going to stay out there.
Hale, back right.
Sort of a random observation from the game, but it looked like on a couple of those running plays when Zeb, or I don't know if other quarterbacks did too, would hand the ball off, he'd kind of put his hand on the running back's back. And I don't know is that something y'all
That's something he
teach?
does. He's it's his way of, like, it's a quick hitter. It was a quick hitter, like a short yardage deal. He said he's done that his whole life. He pushes them just to kind of give them that extra nudge, just an extra shot of understanding. Just, we call it skip a rock. Like, go skip a rock and get the first down.
Have you seen?
I noticed it too. I'd never seen him done that until the other night in the game. So
He didn't do it. He didn't do it in practice.
I never
or anything?
noticed it one time in practice, but I noticed it the other night in the game. Good observation.
Corey, back left.
Marcus, are you happy with the first game that you called, and how do you grade and assess yourself after game 1?
Never happy. All I can see is, my wife's like, you just won the game, but all I see is just the 5 or 6 calls that maybe I didn't like or didn't flow, and just it eats me up. And so, I think we did well enough. I think the organization, the administration, the communication was really good, especially for a first game. But there's always, like any coach would tell you, room for improvement. But I felt confident, felt comfortable. It's like riding a bike. Just wish that I had a couple of those back early on that I think could have been a little bit more successful play calls.
Let's go to David, front left.
Marcus, what was your reaction to Jordan Birch running downfield with that pick 6?
I said he should be a tight end.
Which leads me to the next one. Any, mad scientist stuff about maybe getting him on offense?
I'm trying. He better be playing a lot of snaps over the next couple of weeks, because I'm in coach's ear every single day. Like, that's the most natural run and catch I've seen in a long time.
John Whittle, back right.
Offensive line, biggest positive takeaway and the thing you're harping on to improve the most over the course of the week?
I thought that we moved the line of scrimmage. Again, we had an advantage there, so that should have happened. The thing that we had to improve on is just continuing to get better in pass protection and understanding the different launch points of the quarterback and how we attack certain blocks. It's different when there's a game going, like when it's a game in the field, the fans and the band and all that stuff. So I'm anxious just to continue to grow in our pass pro, but I'm happy where they are in the run game.